What's going on, everyone? This is Mitch with SC Weather. Hope y'all been having a great day as we almost to Friday. So we got some things to talk about. We're going to keep beating on what we talked about yesterday as far as entering a more active pattern starting late this weekend into early next week. It really looks like there's going to be activity ramping up as far as storms and severe storms potentially. Is there going to be any sort of outbreak? We're going to talk about what we know as we begin to get into tomorrow. We'll start to get into the long-range NAM, which isn't always accurate, but it begins to give us a good idea of what kind of threats we can expect, because I do think this could start as early as Sunday for some areas, Sunday afternoon. So we're going to break this down. If you guys have not subscribed, definitely consider doing that. It's a great way to just support what I'm doing here, and it's much appreciated. Like the video. If you do like it, it helps the video get out there. I know that my setup is probably not top tier, but it is. I'm trying to make it better, so I appreciate y'all's support along the way. Also, if you got anything that I can pray about, put it in the comments, so I can definitely pray for you, and it leaves others an opportunity to reach out to you through the comments too. So definitely do that. But like I said, there's a lot to talk about. The Storm Prediction Center is already biting a little bit on this threat, so we're going to talk about what we do know. So let's go on and get going with this. So right now, at day 4, make sure this is at day 4. It is. Okay, it's in motion, so we want to get it out of motion. So at day 4, we have a 15% threat for most of Mississippi and then other areas of the state surrounding it. So this is Sunday into Monday, and I think this is when it's going to start. As what happens here is we basically get an upper trough that becomes a negative tilted trough. When it's negative tilted, that means it's digging like this. When it's positive tilted, it's digging like this. When it's just a regular trough, it's just kind of digging like this. But so this is going to dig here, and above you're going to get a fast flow wind in the upper atmosphere. Below it, you're going to get a moist flow. You get dew points in the 60s and 70s. So those are some basic ingredients for severe thunderstorms. So that's why you got a 15% chance at day 4. It's pretty significant. Normally, probably when we wake up in the morning, what that is going to do is translate to a slight risk for this area, unless it downgrades, and it possibly can. So it's going to leave a few day window for this to get this threat to trend worse or better. So we go to day 5, and it actually goes back. As what happens here is you have another short wave that develops along this trough and really rides up, and it's flowing over some very high cape. I'm talking about cape values as high as 5,000 to 6,000 surface cape. So this is very high. There's going to be a lot of energy in this area as we get into Monday. So this is mainly for Monday and the Monday evening. As another short wave pops off here, goes over very moist air at the surface. So once you get past to day 6, day 7, you don't see anything, right? But that doesn't mean that we're not going to get something. In fact, as day 6 goes to day 5, as we wake up tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if a 15% chance popped up somewhere for Tuesday into Wednesday. So we'll watch that. But here we go. What's going on here is you get into the weekend. Watch this little piece of energy right here. This kind of becomes negative tilted. So what happens here is you get into, let's see, Sunday evening. It's centered right here. So basically you have this thing digging. This is the GFS. I'm going to bounce back and forth from the GFS to the European because they're kind of in agreement basically of there's going to be some activity going on next week. So you got this thing digging here. You got maybe a low-level jet popping off here. You got winds at the mid and upper levels getting going here, and you got a moist flow coming out the Gulf. So you got high dew points. The basic thermodynamics for severe thunderstorms. So this is going to happen at the base or the southeast base of this trough, so which is right around in here. So this is where you have to watch out for some thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms too. And there might be even some storms outside of this area, but I'm not sure if they're going to have the severe element to it. As you get into Monday, you have basically the same kind of scenario, but it's further west. And get my directions mixed up. So you basically got another short range getting pop off here. Now, the big question with all this is low-level shear, which is kind of what you need for tornadoes. It's kind of lacking in that kind of segment. So are we going to get a significant tornado outbreak? Guys, I've seen in the comments a lot of times, are we going to get tornadoes, severe weather in upstate South Carolina? What about this? What about that? And not just me, but meteorologists in general. I'm not a meteorologist. I'm just a weather enthusiast. When you're at this range, and this goes for all forms of weather, winter weather, severe storms, a hurricane threat. Mainly at this range, you talk about a wide area. So I'm talking about the South in general, unless I specify a state. So just keep in mind that it's hard this far out to know if there's going to be a severe thunderstorm on top of your house 4 or 5 days out. You name me one person who can do that. That's God. But outside of that, I mean, we just don't know that kind of information. So right now we know that there's going to be 2 short waves that pop off this upper trough. So this is going to promote severe weather here in Texas. And so we have to kind of wait and what happens here. And I think there's still going to be some energy in Cape, storm fuel, convective energy. Now, what about the other ingredients? Not sure, but there could be a flow out from the west to east that could really ignite some storms into the Carolinas and Virginia as we get into the Monday. It's hard to know what exactly is going to happen with that, but there's definitely a chance. But, as we get into the week, eventually all that energy kind of goes all the way into the East Coast and we get some more stable air. But you can see here how this trough goes negative tilted here as it kind of goes like this and digs right here. That's what causes activity in Mississippi. This gets all out the way, and then you get kind of another one that digs right here and creates a lot of severe weather. Not a lot, I'm just saying it creates an atmosphere of favor for severe weather across Texas. Where exactly all this is going to happen is hard to pinpoint, but you can check out the moist flow. These are dew points, not temperatures. Check it out as you get into this weekend. Basically, you get a cold front that, by the way, if you're in the Carolinas, even parts of Georgia, Virginia, it is very windy right now, and that is because basically you have a max jet kind of going over the area. It's very hard to explain. I'm even like learning this, but basically, in a nutshell, you have a cold front that's moving in. It's not really moving in, but it's getting enhanced, and it's causing strong winds. The winds could possibly be even stronger tomorrow. So that was a tricky thing that snuck up on a lot of meteorologists today. It snuck up on me. I didn't know it was going to be so windy. The winds are very erratic today. It's crazy. But basically, check it out. All these dew points is stable air. It gets replaced with moist air across the entire southeast. Dew points maybe getting all the way into the 60s, all the way to New York City. So a lot of moist air is going to, high dew points is a hefty element for severe weather. It always is. It always will be. So check out Cape, storm fuel. As you get into the weekend, there's not a lot going on, but it begins to spike as you get into Monday. And, there's not a lot of Cape to work with, if hardly any, for Sunday. But there's a lot of other ingredients, some shear right here in Mississippi and things like that really could pop off some severe storms. But Monday is going to be very interesting, especially in Texas. Watch out, Dallas. There could be some supercells that really explode. There's going to be a cap in place. A cap, like I've explained in the last few videos, is basically a boundary in the upper atmosphere that prevents updrafts from really exploding. Basically, it prevents storm development. Wonders that, a decent cap in place, if there's enough Cape and a storm can kind of blow up past the cap, you can get a nasty individual supercell. That's where you get the crazy hail like you saw in Oklahoma last night in Texas. That San Antonio almost got slammed by that tornadic storm. But so Monday's going to be very interesting. But notice it's not just Cape here. You got Cape and you got energy, convective energy all across the southeast. So it could potentially be a stormy, definitely first half of the week. So we'll kind of watch that. This kind of gives you a good idea where the moisture is going to be off the GFS. Check out the moisture here Sunday, where the storm could be, and then that short wave gets on going. And then notice Monday. You notice how you don't see any moisture where that 15% chance is? That is because there's going to be a cap in place. So the models might not pick up on anything. Look at this. You see how the lines shoot up like this? That is signifying a cap in the upper atmosphere. Like I said, it's a layer preventing updrafts, which is need for explosive thunderstorm development. But look at all the Cape, over 4,000 joules per kilogram surface Cape. That is plenty enough Cape for thunderstorms to form, but will they? You got, I just clicked a random sounding in northeast Texas, and you got dew points in the low 70s, temperatures in the 80s. That is definitely favorable for severe weather, but you don't have anything breaking the cap. We're not going to get a better idea until we get into short range for areas in Texas. Areas outside of Texas, you could just have traditional thunderstorm development. So the Carolinas, we could get some storms, but it's going to be hit or miss. Not everybody's going to see it. So these short troughs are going to these short waves are going to work through, and then we're going to watch as we get into the next week in a bigger system. This is big. This is kind of just showing up. So it's definitely not something that we know a lot on yet. But European, as far as Cape, same thing. It builds it high, and just incredible Cape in Texas. So we'll watch to see if we can, because let me tell you, if we can lose the cap and we get into the HRRR model range in Texas, and you start to see supercells exploding in Texas, it's going to be very, very interesting. Massive hail storms could develop. We'll try to watch that. But European, this is the K index. Basically, it's showing where thunderstorms can form. Basically, the brighter colors up this meter right here, the higher chances. It just kind of shows in general, it's going to be active in the eastern U.S. There's going to be chances for storms. So that's pretty much all I got, guys. I'm just hitting more on what I talked about yesterday, but chances are increasing. The Storm Prediction Center showed it of storm development next week across the deep south and just the south in general. So thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have an awesome night.